Assalamualaikum. My name is Faiza binti Fazila. My metric number is 265376. Today, me and my partner will present our research on the challenges on online learning among two university students in Malaysia due to COVID-19 pandemic. First, I will start with the introduction. E-learning, or have called as online learning, is a learning process that existed before the presence of the COVID-19 pandemic. Many universities are using blended learning as a teaching and learning process. Due to the presence of the COVID-19 virus that has shaken the world in March 2020, the Malaysian government has taken action to close many sectors, including university. This decision was made to avoid the virus continuously spreading in the country. Learning process through online platform are still new for lecturers and university students in Malaysia. If the students are not ready, the online learning still needs to carry on. The quality of students' performance need to be improved in order to create a greater education performance background in the future. Students must play their part by improving the quality of their performance in assessment and exam. The aims of this study is to identify the challenges of students' online learning during a pandemic in two different universities. The online learning system are different for each university in Malaysia. It means the challenges for the student in online learning may be different too. Problem statement. An online learning process is the best alternative for university students to continue their learning process during pandemic. But it still has pros and cons that students need to face during the online learning process. There are challenges that students need to face during online learning which actually based on their situation and environment. The first challenge is unknowledgeable of finding suitable source for completing assessment. The student will have difficulty identifying whether the contents of the article or sources on the internet are suitable or not for their research. This issue will affect the student time management and also quality of the assessment. The second challenge is lack of personal space for studying in online learning. The issue occurs when students do not have their own bedroom or suitable study area. It means the student need to face a lot of disturbance during their online classes and while completing the assessment. The third challenge is unstable internet connection. Students who live in rural areas mostly have to face the internet connection problem. They need to get out of the area and find the nearest area that have strong internet coverage. The last challenge is hard to adapt the new learning process environment. It occurs when the students are not familiar with the new process environment and is especially relevant for students that have a lot of commitment to meet every day.
For the research question, there is three types of question, which is the question number one. What are the challenges that the student needs to experience during the online class? The question number two is, does the lack of personal space and internet connection problem is the major challenges that the student need to face during the online class? And the third question is the student having hard time in adapting new learning process due to the challenges that they need to face during the online class? For the research objective, there are three objectives that need to fulfill, which is to identify the challenges that the student need to experience during the online class. The second objective is to evaluate whether the lack of the personal space and internet connection problem is the major challenges that the student need to face during online class. And the third objective is to investigate if the student having hard time in adapting new learning process due to the challenges that they need to face during the online class.
Research scope. This research is to investigate the challenges of online learning among two university students in Malaysia due to COVID-19 pandemic. The respondents are students from two different universities, which are University Utara Malaysia (UEM) and University Islam Antarabangsa Sultan Abdul Halim Muazzam Shah Indonesia. This research will not focus on the respondent race, course of study, or nationality because both universities have students from different races. The course of study for these two universities is not the same, and both universities has international students that study at that university. There is 50 respondents from each university, and the link for Google Form is given randomly by messaging the respondent personally. Literature review. Since March 2020, the pandemic has caused worry and dissatisfaction among students when it comes to online learning. Students need to face a lot of challenges during the learning process, and their concentrations in online class has been affected due to this situation. The researcher used a qualitative method, which is a narrative reflection based on the student experience. The student narrative comments are collected and compiled through jot form. The respondent used English and Spanish in answering the research survey. The researcher assessed the data in Microsoft Excel file using a constant comparative content analysis and color coding approach. Students need to use a variety of ways to respond to online learning. Students find challenges in online learning due to this issue when they are unfamiliar with the online learning platform that is used by the lecturer. A non-structured survey that uses a quantitative approach is used to analyze the research data. The questionnaire was made up of 15 variables and 61 items in total. COVID-19 has disrupted the majority of the world sector, and online learning was the best solution for continuing education throughout the pandemic, particularly in post-secondary education. Quantitative research online learning is the easiest way for the lecturer to approach the student, but the efficiency of online learning for all students to conduct their learning process is still an issue. The research was conducted for English language students at the undergraduate level in Taibah, University Faculty of Science and Arts, Aulula, Madinah. The investigation and data collection are based on online survey questionnaire. It was created using Google Form and delivered to students via WhatsApp group at the end of the second semester of 2020.
Now, I would like to talk about the methodology. For this research, we use quantitative research design, such as descriptive research design and cross-sectional design. For data collection, we use questionnaire through the Google form, and the sampling technique we use convenience sampling. We construct three types of hypotheses that name as H1, H2, and H3. For the data analysis, we use two types of analysis, which is descriptive analysis and regression analysis.
Descriptive analysis. Question 1 is gender. From the pie chart, we can see that majority of the UEM participants and UNISHAM participants who participate in this research paper are female. Only 42% out of 100% participants are male. Question 2 is age. From the pie chart, we can see that majority of UEM participants are age range of 22 to 24 years old. Meanwhile, majority of the UNISHA participants are in age range of 19 to 21 years old. Question 3 is nationality. From the pie chart, we can see that majority of UEM participants are Malaysian and only one participant from Indonesia. Meanwhile, all the UNISHAM participants are Malaysian. Question 4 is race. From the pie chart, it can be seen that the majority of UEM participants for the research paper are Malay, and the minority of UEM participants is Madura, which is from Indonesia. Meanwhile, all the UEM participants are Malay. Result from question 5. The target participants for this research paper are 100 students. 50 out of 100 participants are UEM students and another 50 participants are UNISHAM students. Result for question 6. The pie chart shows majority of the UEM participants are final year students, which is in semester 7 and above. Meanwhile, majority of the UNISHAM participants are second year students, which is semester 2 or 3. Result from question 8. Based on the result, we can see that the majority of students conduct their online learning process at home. Meanwhile, minority of the students are at their university, maybe because of they are having full coverage of internet connection in their hometown. Result from question 9. The pie chart show that majority of UEM students having moderate internet connection, while the UNISHAM students having strong internet connection during online learning process, especially for online classes. Result for question 10. We can see that majority participants for UEM choose WebEx, while UNISHAM participants choose Google Meet. This shows that most of the lecturers in UEM use WebEx as the online learning platform to conduct the online learning process, but the lecturer in UNISHAM mostly using Google Meet as the online learning platform to conduct the online class. Result from question 11, we can see that majority of the participants said that they are using personal mobile and personal laptop during online learning process. This means they did not have to share their device with other family members during their online learning process.
Regression analysis. Before we start to conduct the regression analysis, we need to identify the dependent and independent variables. In the table show the value of significant and R squared for H1, H2 and H3. The significant value need to be less than the value of alpha, which is 0.05, and the value of R squared need to more than 0.7. Based on the table, we can conclude that we only accept the H1 and reject the H2 and H3 because H2 and H3 are not significant and only the H1 are significant. For the conclusion, the aim of this research paper is to identify the challenges that the student needs to experience during online class between two universities. Based on the result, we can say that the challenges that the student need to experience during online class have been identified and the research objectives are fulfilled. For the recommendation, we suggest that to conduct study about the challenges that the lecturer needs to experience during the online class. For the future study, we suggest that to explore more in other influential statistical techniques. That's all from us. Thank you.